everyone, I'm Becky,
And I'm Sarah.
and we're doing Bickering book reviews from an appropriate social distance.
And I
And
have cars honking outside.
Joe.
Yeah.
So it's funny because we usually film in a study room at the library, and it's such a controlled space. And then we're here, and people are wandering in. There's sounds of thunder. There's all this stuff happening.
And then there's lighting issues, and
I never realized how bad the lighting was in my house.
my tripod decides to just break.
Sorry.
So,
But today we are talking about Breath Like Water by Anna Jarzab, which I got off of NetGalley.
I did too.
And so this book is about Susanna Ramos, who wants to be an Olympian, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to get to her dream. Susanna has spent the last few years floundering after winning a gold medal at the Junior World Tournament. After her body changed and her confidence was weakened, she wasn't able to win anymore. Now Susanna is just months away from the Olympic trials, and her life is about to be shaken by a new coach and a new boy on her swim team named Harry, who sees her and likes the real Susanna that even she has never been able to accept. Can Susanna open herself up to new people and new experiences without losing her dream?
This feels so much like that book we read a while back called Every Reason We Shouldn't. And as you're describing the plot, which I knew, but as you're describing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much like that book. Girl's body changes. She can't achieve the Olympic dreams that she had always imagined, and she has to find kind of new pools of motivation and figure out new ways to kind of fit into that mold.
I liked this way better. And honestly, when I was reading them, I didn't compare it. It wasn't until you pointed it out that I even thought about that.
So I think this one is definitely stronger. The characters are stronger. The story is stronger. But it's also it's just this weird intersection between these books that have all recently come out, because not only does it remind me of Every Reason We Shouldn't, but this is the third book within the last month and a half that we've read where there's issues with a coach being kind of inappropriate or being controlling, and so it's a little different than those, but it's very much along the same lines.
Well, and I feel like it's appropriate because that apparently happens so much, which is horrifying. Even my beloved Ohio State had a scandal with the coaches.
Yeah. I guess I enjoyed the characters. I liked the relationship between Susanna and Harry. The one thing though that was hard for me to kind of believe and get on board with is that everybody kept calling her selfish, but I don't really recall seeing scenarios where she was being as selfish as they keep saying that she is.
Well, but I think that the reason it's easy for someone in this situation to be called selfish is because their whole world revolved around her swimming. And I think to be that level of an athlete, you have to shut everything else out, and people have to basically give you everything. Because that was my thought. There's different times through the books where people talk about they got this far and maybe they'll quit. And I'm thinking, do you have any idea how much money that cost?
Yeah.
So I loved the stuff about the Olympics. I thought that was there's something about, I love an Olympic book, and it makes me so sad. I was almost in tears that they delayed the Olympics. I wait, as soon as the Olympics end, I start immediately 4 more years.
You do love the Olympics.
I do the Olympics. I love the music. I watch the open ceremony. I love when they give them the medals, and I find myself watching things that I would never normally watch.
And caring. Caring what the result is.
I care so much.
I don't know. I feel we really didn't she talked about the Olympics, but I feel we didn't really experience the Olympics, if that makes any sense.
But they talked about how the swim meets worked and how the trials worked, and I thought that was really interesting. Okay. And times and how you qualify. And there's a lot about mental illness, and I thought that was done well.
Yeah.
And I feel this is that they're going back to they're doing more mental illness books. I just read this morning, I was finished listening to the audiobook, This Is My Brain in Love. And that one also like touches a lot about mental illness and depression and anxiety and stuff. And I feel like that's stuff that kids need to see. Like they need to see, and they need to see it in a love story. They need to see that people can have a romance and you can have these other things.
Yeah.
I just really like, I feel like I don't have much more to say. I just really enjoyed it. Like I think I read it like in a day and a half. It was a nice little escape novel. I enjoyed the drama. Like I read her, I don't think it was her first book. It was the first book by her I came across was Red Dirt, which I was trying to explain to a kid at the library because I was giving them my ARC. And I'm like, it's like a slightly dirty teen version of Winter's Bone. And but no, I'm gonna keep reading her books.
Yeah, I'll keep reading her books. I mean, yeah, it was a solid romance book. It definitely touched on the thing, like some kind of important key features that it needed to touch on, especially like her talking about being one of the only brown girls in the sport and
Right.
kind of looking for friends in that kind of layer of the story.
Well, you know what's interesting about that was this, and then the book, what's it called? Brown Brother or Black Brother?
Black Brother, Black Brother.
So that was about fencing, and they talked about how most Olympic sports are very more driven towards Caucasian people and not as, and it's hard for minorities to get involved. That was my phone ringing. To get involved in
You
those
lost your train
kind
of
of
thought.
sports, those kind of like the elite Olympian sports.
Yeah, yeah, I did see pieces of those two because I just finished reading that book as well, so I saw pieces of
Yeah.
those two together. But yeah, are we ready to rate it, you think?
I'm ready. So our rating system starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We go down to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it's a horse.
So I'm at 3 unicorns. I think it was solid. I don't like I read it quickly, but I'm not like running out of the house wanting to scream its name to everybody. Like it's a solidly good romance. That's where I'm at.
See, I'm at a 4, and I'm at a 4 because I did enjoy the romance, but I liked it for all the other things that she chose to include. Like I said, this is my second book by this author, and she's on my list. I'm going to read whatever she releases next.
All right, that's fair. But I also think we should put at the end of this, before we go, if you're looking for any recommendations, some people have actually started commenting on some of our books or on our reviews for recommendations. But if you're looking for anything to read, you're struggling because now you've got all of these students and you've got to find books that will keep them entertained, let us know. We're great at finding books that are great to discuss, books that are great to recommend. Just let us know what you're looking for and we can certainly help you out.
That we will. And we'll see you around.
Okay, bye.
Bye.